Hi everyone, Donna with Bookkeeping Made Simple, and I am here today to, one of these days I'll get this intro right. Hi everyone, my name's Donna Harris. I'm the owner of Bookkeeping Made Simple and the host of the Books and Backbone podcast. Today we're going to talk a bit about things that affect nearly all small business owners that rely on a CPA or an accountant or a bookkeeper, and that would be just about all small business owners. We're talking about the accountant shortage, and honestly, and we're also talking about AI. We're going to talk about how those connect. So this should be pretty eye-opening for you. First of all, let's go over the numbers, okay? I want you to understand the scope of what we're dealing with. The accounting profession has been losing people faster than they can replace them for years. Between 2019 and 2022 alone, over 300,000 accountants left the profession. They retired, they burned out, they walked away, they left. And the pipeline that's supposed to replace them has been shrinking for over a decade. CPA candidates are down 27% over the past 10 years. The number of people sitting for the CPA exam is down 30% over the past 10 years. And accounting degree completions have declined over 8 consecutive years, hitting levels we haven't seen since the early aughts or the early 2000s, however you want to say that. Meanwhile, demand for accounting services hasn't gone down, it's gone up. Tax law keeps changing, regulatory complexity keeps increasing. Businesses need more advisory services, not fewer. So we have a situation where the work is expanding and the workforce is contracting, and that gap is showing up in ways that affect businesses directly. Roles requiring CPA credentials now take an average of 73 days to fill. That's 41% longer than comparable positions without the designation. Nearly 640 publicly listed companies reported material weaknesses tied to the accounting talent shortage in just one recent 12-month period. And here's a stat that should really get your attention. More than 90% of finance leaders say they can't find enough accounting professionals. 90%. They can't find enough qualified accounting professionals. 90%. That's not a blip. It's structural and it's not going away anytime soon. So why are fewer people going into accounting? Well, one is the 150-hour requirement to sit for the CPA exam. Basically, you need a master's degree. A bachelor's degree is 120 hours. You need that extra year of education and debt compared to almost any other business degree. For a lot of young people, they're doing the math. They understand return on investments, and they're seeing this as a deterrent. Second is perception. Accounting is an image problem. Students look at it and see spreadsheets and tax season and long hours and low pay, and they choose finance or tech instead. I always laugh and say, for some reason, the legal profession is considered sexy, and the medical profession is considered sexy, and accounting is not. But accounting is every bit as important as those other two professions. And I always laugh that medical is considered sexy when you end up with other people's bodily fluids all over you. It's not sexy to me. But it's true. I mean, think about how accountants are perceived in the media, how accountants are perceived, and I don't mean the news, I mean movies and TV shows. I have yet to see a TV show about an accounting practice. I've seen several about legal practice. I've seen a lot on the medical profession, but I have yet to see a TV show covering accounting. So it's not viewed as something that's particularly desirable. However, what students are missing is that modern accounting is not spreadsheets. It's not just crunching numbers. It's advisory. And that means that we are providing critical information, critical services for the businesses that we serve. And they're very impactful. People, as soon as they hire us, the first thing they say is, I feel like I've just had a load taken off of me. It's really a fulfilling field. And third, and this one doesn't get talked about enough, Um, a massive portion of the existing accounting workforce is at or approaching retirement age. It goes back to the young people. Incoming college students are not studying accounting. The people that studied accounting and are good at it are getting ready to retire. So when those people leave, they're taking decades of institutional knowledge with them. Not just how to do a tax return, but how to talk to the IRS, things that just can't be learned any other way. You can't replace a 30-year CPA with someone fresh out of college who just passed their CPA exam and expect the same outcome. The AI CPA calls this a pipeline crisis. And I think that's the right word. It's not a shortage in the traditional sense. It is a combination of the structural collapse of incoming talent pipeline at exactly the moment the outgoing workforce is aging out. Now, enter AI. And I want to be really careful with this because I love to use AI. I do not like to use it for client work. There's a lot of hype in both directions. On one hand, you have people saying AI is going to replace accountants entirely. On the other hand, you have members of the profession sticking their heads in the sand and pretending it's not changing anything, and neither is true. AI is getting, it can be, it can be very good at some things. I use QuickBooks, and it is not nearly as good as they say it is yet. However, I can see a future where AI will get really good at categorizing transactions and bank reconciliations and anomaly and fraud detection and basic journal entries and cash flow projections. And these are things that used to take hours. Now they take minutes. Sometimes they're just automatic. They have it in the background. AI is getting good at that. However, AI is not good at nuance. It's not good at figuring out how to talk to a client. It's not good at a lot of things. Most of my clients use QuickBooks Online, which is basically what I demand of them. And it has been incorporating a lot of AI features, and some of them can be useful. Bank feeds are getting smarter. Categorization, Intuit's AI categorization is the bane of my existence, but reconciliation is faster. I don't have to spend, when I first learned accounting, it was all manual. It was with a 10-key calculator. It was not computerized, and so I would have to sit and add up columns of numbers over and over again to get them to add up to the same amount. So we're able to be more productive. Yeah, one industry CEO put it this way. He said, 2026 is the year AI becomes a native layer inside the core systems accountants already use. Not a separate tool, not another ambient intelligence quietly handing summaries. It's going to be doing a lot of the workflows, which is exciting, and it's real. And it means that I get to be more effective and more efficient in my work. But here's what AI cannot do. It cannot exercise professional judgment. It cannot look at your specific situation, your industry, your goals, your risk tolerance, your history, sometimes even your state of your marriage. It can't look at that. I've had clients go out of business because they were getting a divorce. AI cannot predict that. AI doesn't know how to deal with that. What it can do is it can't give you advice detailed to you. It can give advice. Sometimes it's not correct. Hallucinations are still a thing. It cannot catch the nuance in a complex transaction. And most people's transactions are more complex than they realize. It cannot tell you, it cannot interpret tax law. It cannot tell you that the way you've been classifying something for 3 years is actually wrong. And here's how to fix it before it becomes a problem. Nearly 60% of finance professionals say they only trust AI when it operates within clear guardrails and human oversight, and I agree with that. I think that number should be higher. I think AI is a tool. It's a very powerful tool. but it's a tool and should be treated as such. So what do you do with all this? Well, if you're a small business owner, what I want you to take away from today's episode: one, don't wait till you're in trouble to find a good bookkeeper or accountant. We're getting to be very hard to find. The shortage is real. Be prepared to pay for it. Qualified professionals have very full rosters. If you need help, you start looking now, not in December when everybody's suddenly thinking about it. Two, understand what you're paying for. If someone's quoting you rock bottom prices for bookkeeping, say $24.95 a week or $197 a month, and I have seen these signs out, ask yourself what you're really getting. What are they providing to you for that low of a price? I grew up in an era when, and we're taught this in business school, by the way, if a price is too low, it's probably not providing you with what you're looking for. But if the price is too high, it may have too many bells and whistles. So these things that accountants do have value. You should be paying for them. AI can handle transaction volume. That's no big deal. But what you should be paying for is a professional for judgment, oversight, accuracy, and accountability. Those things have value. And they're in a shortage. That value is going up, not going down. So if you're going to hire a bookkeeper or an accountant, and yes, I do recommend that you do not do the rock bottom cheap. Don't go cheap on this. 3, embrace technology, but keep a human in the loop. If your bookkeeper or accountant is using AI to work more efficiently, that's good. But make sure that there's a real human doing it. That's monitoring the output, that's double checking things, not just rubber stamping things. Accounting was not my first field either. By the way, my first field and the love that I really wanted to go into was computer science. My life did not turn out in a way that would allow me to go into that field and be good at it. That is one of those fields where I chose motherhood over tech. But the old saying still applies: garbage in, garbage out. So you have to make sure, that's why we need humans, to make sure that the information, the inputs are correct, that the inputs are useful, and then make sure that anyone that codes can tell you, they do vibe coding now with AI. Claude Code is one that I can think of off the top of my head. But it still might not work. It's an iterative process. That means we work with it and we double check it and then we train it a little bit better. But it's still just an algorithm. And 4, clean books are your protection. We're in a world now where accounting talent is scarce. AI is handling more of the volume work. Businesses are going to be best positioned with clean, accurate, up-to-date books, because clean books mean faster turnaround, fewer questions, lower fees, and better decisions. If your books are a mess, now's the time to fix it. Not next quarter, now. In conclusion, the accounting profession is going through a real reckoning right now. The shortage is serious, AI is changing things, and small business owners are caught in the middle of it. This is really an opportunity for businesses that are paying attention. Get your books clean, build a relationship with a qualified professional before everyone else is trying to do the same thing. Understand there's a shortage of qualified professionals. It's not going to be resolved anytime soon. Use technology thoughtfully and don't confuse automation for expertise. That's what we do at Bookkeeping Made Simple. We combine the tools with the judgment. We have a flat fee rate, no surprises, and we have real humans who know what they're doing. We're not kitchen table bookkeepers. I hold a master's degree in accounting and an MBA, and my bookkeeping manager holds an MBA. So we're not someone that just crawled out of the bookwork, decided to learn QuickBooks with no understanding of the accounting principles that go behind it. We know what we're doing. If you want to talk about where your books are, and how they stand, what they look like, whether they're accurate, grab a spot on my calendar at mysimplebookkeeping.com. I would love to connect. Thanks for being here. I will see you in the next episode. Keep your books clean and your backbone strong.